In the Christian world, we have what I and many others call Christianese. In other words, it's verbiage we use that really nobody has a clue what it is. When I first came into the kingdom, I'd hear people say regeneration, and I'm like, wow, that sounds really special. I don't have a clue what they're talking about. I would have people say, well, you know, you need to walk in holiness. And back then, here's what definition of holiness was. How long you cut your hair, what you drank, what you didn't drink, what you said, what you didn't say, where you went, where you didn't go. Okay? Now, there's some validity to that, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's based on a different principle than what was taught then. So holiness was like a foreign word to me. It sounded good, and it sounds like something everybody ought to be doing, but nobody really knew what it was. Let me read you a definition, and I'm going to try to explain it in something I wrote. Here's what holiness means. Christians that are dedicated to God's service, insofar as they are conformed in all things to the will of God. Personal holiness is a work of gradual development. So holiness by nature is not about what you do, it's about who you're in relationship with. I'm going to just read what I wrote this morning, and I believe it'll help. But it is not so much, but it is so much more than just living right. It is having the right relationship with Christ that causes us to live right. Grace is living better than you thought you could. I can't live right in of myself. But it makes it very difficult when I understand the love of God, the grace of God, the forgiveness of God. It makes it very difficult to not live right. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to tell you that I don't miss it and hadn't missed it and none of that. I'm just simply saying it becomes a lot clearer when you understand His great love. You've heard me say this many times. You'll never hear, let's use a husband and wife relationship. And this will kind of bring it together. You'll never hear a husband say, you know what, me and my wife were living in marital bliss. Honestly, I didn't even think it could be this good. I've never seen anything this good. This is far beyond anything I ever imagined in marriage. So I decided to go have an affair. How crazy would that be? Same relationship with Christ. When we understand His deep love, His deep concern, His deep forgiveness, His grace for us, then it makes it very difficult to ever want to do anything that would hurt His name, hurt our reputation as His son or daughter. You see where I'm going with this? In other words, and it takes that legalism out of it, because what I grew up with, don't do this, nobody ever told me He loves you. You can experience something. That's why welcome to LifeWay Church, where you can experience. Our plan for every person that comes through those doors is to experience the love of God. Because without an experience, you're still living in dead works. Literally, you could do everything right and still be dead on the inside. The Pharisees is the best example of that. They kept the 10 commandments, and then they have, 625, 624 other commandments that they put on top of that. And then the Lord and Master, you know what Jesus said? He said, you cleaned up the outside. Looking spiffy. Looking sharp. He said, but on the inside, you're just like a sepulcher. You're just full of dead man's bones.